Hello, I'm Disparu, and Lost Ark might be the most surprising game of the year, at least for me. When I heard about it, yeah, I'd heard news about it before. I thought it could go either way. It could be popular, it could not. I didn't really have firm feelings. But not only did I not expect it to be this popular, I never expected it to break so many records, as it's basically broken everything. With 1.3 million online concurrents, it's now the second most played game ever on Steam, only beaten by PUBG, which had something like 3.6 million. So honestly, no one really expects anyone to break that anytime soon. The fact that this has done this well is amazing, especially given Amazon's track record. When you think about their cancelled Crucible, a free-to-play shooter that kind of got released and then cancelled almost immediately because no one wanted to play it. Now, they did have New World, which was a success, but this, Lost Ark, even though Amazon is just a publisher of it, really solidifies themselves in the gaming space, and now I don't think anyone won't be taking them seriously from this point on. In fact, it's really amazing the amount of players that we've actually had with this, and how it all happened, because, yeah, you could argue it's free to play, but there's way more to the story than that. Lost Ark has now beaten CSGO with 1.3 million, and Dota, which had 1.29 million, becoming the second of all time. But how it happened is the interesting part, because you can see here, these are the Twitch numbers, where on Tuesday it was first available, and this is where it started catching everyone's eye, where it had 1.2 million viewers on Twitch, which I don't think anyone really expected. Now, it did have drops, which will definitely have helped it, but the interest was definitely there at 1.2 million players. And then after all, from there, it dropped off. Yeah, it peaked when it was actually made available for everyone else on the 11th yesterday with just under 1 million users, but there was still a pretty deep decline of 300,000 users, and the trend is definitely for it to go down. So you think, okay, it came off to a massive launch, but it looks like it's not doing too well. That's not how it seems, because as you can see on this, the numbers spiked massively today. Yeah, it had a peak, had a lot of players before, and then peaked there. But what are the actual numbers themselves? Because that's where the amazing story really is. Because it launched, and it wasn't free to play. Because the story for me is like, yeah, okay, it has massive numbers now. Is it free to play? But it wasn't initially, and it still had huge numbers. Like 500,000 when it was first made available behind a paywall. Then we kept on 500,000 the next day, 500,000 the next. And then, yeah, there was a little decrease as I think there was server issues or something here. People just couldn't get on. And then when it was made available, almost 1 million went down overnight and then popped up and has kept on climbing to 1.308 million users. And this was a game that was popular when you had to pay for it. And free-to-play has just made it even more popular and has no sign of stopping. And that kind of success for me is amazing. I love hearing about games that do really, really well, especially when they kind of come out of nowhere and take everyone by surprise. But then you move on to the next question. Okay, it's done amazing right now. It's free to play. It's in hype mode. All the streamers are playing it. Everyone wants to get on board. There's server issues which drive the hype even more, because if you can't get on, the only thing you want to do is play the game. But we might have seen this all before. If you go and you look at the New World users, you find out that actually New World itself is kind of struggling at the moment. It started off back in October last year with 913,000 users, and then had a very, very steep drop-off in just like a month to 195,000. Now, 200,000 users is nothing to be sniffed at, and to be fair, it held them for quite a while, going down to, even in January of this year, being 100,000 users. But over the last month, you've seen an even more severe decline. It's gone from 100,000 users down to 44,000 users this month. It's lost 60% of its users in a month, and it's not showing signs of slowing down. And that, for me, is the real story. It's exploded onto the scene. It's done amazingly. It's broken all records except for one, which no one really thinks can be beaten anyway. And now, I just want to see how it performs in the future. I want to keep my eye on this one and see where it goes. Where is this going to go after the honeymoon stage? Is there content lined up? Can people keep being entertained by the game? Is there enough to grind for? Now, this game has been out in other parts of the world for a long time, so the content should already be made and there to roll out at a decent pace. Content shouldn't be the problem here. This will be down to game fundamentals, if it can keep players interested in the long term. And that is a very interesting situation, because it's one not many games have. Normally, games struggle with the content. They struggle to put content out at a rate that the players consume it. They just can't physically keep up. But now with this backlog, they actually could. So now we get one of the first tests of, is the actual core, the base game, the mechanics of it enough to keep the players around, or Is this all just one massive hype bubble, which will explode, similar to New World? That is the question that I can't wait to get answers to. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like the video, press like, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And for now, that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.